So this is new. Hot flashes and other things that a lot of women experience through menopause last longer than what a lot of folks originally had thought. Pretty interesting stuff. As a matter of fact, we're going to be chatting with Dr. Rebecca Brightman. She is attending physician and clinical instructor at Mount Sinai, and you see her on TV. She's all the time. You see her on the Today Show all the time. She's going to be talking about this on News Radio 1620 and on the web at newsradio1620.com. Cold tonight, clouds, 31 for the low. We'll tell you this tomorrow, a little bit warmer, high of 57, but it is going to be windy. Right now, let's welcome into the show Dr. Rebecca Brightman. Dr. Brightman, how are you?
I'm fine.
I'm glad you could be here.
Thanks for having me.
Well, I'm glad you could be here. This is kind of interesting. When it comes to hot flashes, night sweats, and other symptoms of menopause, it's something, it's never fun to deal with. It seems to be it's a fact of life. There are ways to deal with it, and I do want to get into that. But I guess something kind of new we've learned is it may last longer than what we had originally thought.
That's true. And I think a lot of people think, women are going through menopause, it'll last a year, a few months. And we know, in fact, that for some women, symptoms can last more than 4 years, even more than 7 years. And a new study shed some light on that and the fact that women are really variable in terms of the number of years they may experience symptoms and the degree to which they may experience symptoms. So I think it's really important for people to be aware of that.
So what do they do? So, and then typically, about what age group do women typically start experiencing this?
Well, the average age of menopause in this country is 51. And when we say menopause, it means when a woman has gone for a full year with having had a menstrual period. And it is not unusual for women to start to have symptoms for even more than 7 years prior to their final menstrual period. So this is called really the menopausal transition. And this is what this study is actually looking at, the fact that it's so variable. So some women can start really being symptomatic in their early 40s. Some women don't start having symptoms until they get into their 50s. Some women really have minimal symptoms, so they're the lucky ones, but it's very variable.
And it's interesting because a lot of times, let's say, for example, you get a woman in her early 40s and starts experiencing some of these things, and all the signs are there. You go, oh, it's menopause, but they think, well, I'm 41. That can't be happening, and that's one of the things that often happens. Now, what about? We know there's common forms of treatment, common therapies. What about alternatives and non-hormonal treatments to this kind of stuff?
Well, there's a real need for non-hormonal treatments because many women don't traditionally want to go on hormone replacement, which has always been, tried and true in terms of treating their symptoms. But there are some non-hormonal ways in which we can treat women. There is an FDA-approved non-hormonal treatment. It's an SSRI medication that's used for treating anxiety and depression in higher doses. And there also is some data to suggest that the use of SSRIs, SNRIs, and some anti-seizure and mood stabilizer medications can be used, and they're non-hormonal, and they can effectively treat women. But there's been a real need and a real interest in treating women with non-hormonal medications, non-pharmacologic medications, products that are potentially nutritional supplements. A woman can go to a pharmacy, they can go online and order them, and they're deemed to be safe. And it's really important for a woman to talk to her doctor because they may be more well-versed in terms of using these alternative therapies.
Do you find, and I got to get going here before we do some sports, do you find, and I always think, everybody's natural and comfortable with talking about any type of health issue. Do you find women, especially say women in their early 40s, do they typically have a hard time approaching their doctor about some of these types of things?
I think they do. I think that they really feel that they are alone in this process. And I think they're very comforted to know that many women are actually going through what they're going through. And I think that this study will actually shed light on the fact that, gosh, they're not alone. This can go on for several years. There are options that they can pursue. They should talk to their doctor. And there actually are some nice new non-hormonal options that are out there for them to try.
All right, Dr. Rebecca Brightman, attending physician and clinical instructor at Mount Sinai. Thank you so much for joining us on the show. Some interesting stuff. I appreciate your info.
Thank you so much.
All right, good night, Doctor. 6:50.